a mystery to Christmas. There's a mystery. And a lot of times, Christmas can be a little confusing. If we look at it, we look at the story of the Christmas story, and you look at it, it's all about humility and poverty. I mean, you got to understand that Mary and Joseph, for chances are, they weren't rich by any means. So we have this story of humility and poverty, and yet when we look at our lives, when we look at our Christmas celebrations, we have wealth. And even if you're the poorest of poor in the United States, you're probably wealthy than 90% of those who are poor in the world. We have wealth. And we have indulgent gift giving. I looked it up and I had it on another sheet. And I don't have it with me, but sometime look up how much money is spent at Christmas time on gifts. And it'll floor you. I think the average is something like, I think the average person spends anywhere from $800 to $1,000 on gifts. It's just, there's a disconnect there between the humility and the poverty of the story of the family, of Jesus' family, and we look at ourselves today. We hear the story of the star. We think of the star that shines, and at night you walk out and you're like, oh, isn't it awesome? You think about maybe that was the star that this wise men followed. But as you're staring there, all of a sudden you may be distracted by all the blinky lights that are on your neighbor's tree. So there's this bit of a disconnect there also. And we think of the manger, this obscure and dirty manger. I imagine that when Mary had Jesus, she had to clear the hay out of the trough or the food or whatever was in the trough and put the baby in there. And yet in our houses, it's nice and warm. You think of the Norman Rockwell idea of the fireplace, the tree next to it, and hopefully the tree not catching on fire if it's a real tree. But, there's this disconnect. I don't think we can fully appreciate what was going on. And we think of wise men and shepherds. By the way, when was the last time you saw a shepherd? Who was a real shepherd? And we spend more time seeing salespeople than we do seeing wise men and shepherds. So there's this mystery, this confusing time of Christmas. Now, I want you to know, I'm not being a Grinch. I love Christmas. See my tie? You'll be seeing a different tie every week. This is not one I would normally wear to church, but I wore it just because of the sermon. And if you can't see it, Santa and his reindeer are in a balloon. I'm not a Grinch. I love it. I love the Christmas Story, the TV movie, because it's like perfection of what Christmas, was like as a kid, and we idealize it. I love the decorations. I love it. So I'm not being a Grinch, but I think the problem is that even in the church, we have a tendency to focus on the circumstances of the Christmas story without focusing on the meaning and the most important thing in the Christmas story, and that is that baby in the manger. That is the mystery of Christmas. It's not the circumstances, it's the baby. So